While many Augusta theaters expected black customers to watch movies in the early 1900s from the balcony, there was one place where they could see it front row and center. That would be the Lenox on the 1100 block of 9th Street. Today, the spot where thousands of black Augustans saw movies and features and even musical performances featuring Ray Charles, Ethel Waters, or Ma Rainey is a vacant lot full of weeds and dirt. But from the 1920s into the 1960s, this was a center of Augusta's black entertainment. They say James Brown won his first talent contest there. The Lenox was built in 1920 at a cost of more than $100,000, more than $1 million today, by Augusta's premier architect, Lloyd Preacher. Preacher also designed the Imperial Theater, the Richmond Hotel, and even the news building, home of the Chronicle. Back then, things were segregated. Black folks could go to a place like the Imperial, but they would have to sit in the balcony, a place some called the Buzzard's Roost. Not so at the Lenox. Entering the theater itself, guests saw more than 570 seats on the orchestra floor and an additional 300 seats in the balcony. It was heated during the winter by gas steam radiators and cooled in the summers by a mighty cyclone fan, according to the Augusta Chronicle. Then something good happened. In the 1950s and early 60s, segregation ended. Black folks could go pretty much where they wanted to. But then something bad happened. A lot of the black-only businesses began to fail, just like the Lenox. The theater was further damaged January 31st, 1966 by a fire that caused extensive damage. Although historical documents on the theater are scant during this period, old city directories show that the theater appears to have been renovated and continued operating into the early 1970s. Times changed, and the theater did not make it into the end of the decade. In 1974, a teenage girl was found stabbed to death in the abandoned theater, and 4 years later, the city ordered the building torn down. The city acquired the property in a tax lien case. In 1978, they demolished it. Today, it still exists in the memories and old black and white photos that many of us have. Like many old Augusta buildings, that's where it stays.